Welcome to Industry Insiders, created and produced by the Center for Entertainment and Hospitality Management at California State University, Fullerton.
During this series, we sit down with influential professionals in the entertainment and hospitality industries that are located across the world.
Our goal is to learn about each professional's career and gain wisdom from their experience in the industry.
This week's guest is Mariles Krok. Mariles is currently the Vice President of Meeting and Partnership Sales for Visit Anaheim. She has previously worked for Marriott International and Los Angeles Tourism and Convention Board. In addition, Mariles is the past president of Meeting Professionals International Southern California chapter. Join us as we welcome Mariles Krok.
Welcome, Mariles, to Industry Insider. How are we doing today?
Good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
We are excited to have you. Made you a nice little hype video there. Hope you liked it.
I was like, you pulled some of those pictures off of my Facebook.
We did a little research. You know, if we had more time, we'd have done more digging. But I said we'll kind of keep it light for you this time. So
thanks. I appreciate it.
My co-host today is Isla Goshen. So Isla, hello. This is your second time being co-host. Congrats. How are we doing? Mm-hmm. And also congrats to you, Isla, congrats to you for graduating as well. So nice.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, Thanks.
All right. We are going to start off asking Mariles if you could tell us about the first job you had in the hospitality industry. What were you doing?
Oh, first job in the hospitality industry. I was still in high school and I worked at the Sheraton Cerritos as a hostess for the restaurant.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. All right. So you did that. And then what was your first management or supervisory job in hospitality?
First management position was I became a, what was it called then? It was called the market sales manager.
Yes.
And it was for Marriott. And I represented 6 properties in the Manhattan Beach, LAX corridor area. So I want to say it was the LAX Marriott, the Manhattan Beach Marriott, the El Segundo Courtyard, the Manhattan Beach Residence Inn, and the Spring Hill and Town Place Suites in Manhattan Beach.
All right. So then that was then. Tell us, what do you do now?
Okay. So now I'm the vice president of Visit Anaheim. Visit Anaheim is the DMO or Destination Marketing Organization for Anaheim and Orange County. I oversee the meeting sales team, so anything that's not attached to the convention center. And I also oversee the partnership team. So anything with regards to our partners, whether it's hotels, restaurants, shopping, all of the above, anything that would benefit from being a partner of Visit Anaheim.
Wonderful. So what you'll find is that Isla and I will go back and forth with questions. So for this first time, I'll kind of turn over to Isla. You can ask your question and we'll keep the conversation going.
Sounds good.
Cool. So my first question is, how different is your job today from what you thought you'd be doing after graduating high school?
Very different. I always was in love with the hospitality industry, hotels specifically. And after high school, I thought that either I was going to be a GM, like a general manager of a hotel for like a boutique property, or I wanted to say it was definitely a boutique property and it was definitely like operations. So very different. I didn't have any idea that I was going to go into sales at all whatsoever.
Now, in sales, it's a very specialized field. It takes a lot of resilience, determination. You have to be able to know a lot. How have you been able to be such a successful sales professional for so long?
I would have to say there's a couple of things. It's keeping your pulse on the industry. So definitely being a part of an association. So I would definitely recommend being an active member in an association within your industry, making sure that you have some really good mentors within the industry as well, I think is really important. And then continuing education. So making sure that you are pursuing any certifications that will, continue to maintain your knowledge of the field.
Wonderful. If you're talking to people who are just graduating from college or about to graduate soon and they want to get into sales, what advice would you have for them in order to prepare for jobs in the sales space?
I would say start small in the sense of come in as an admin, know what you're passionate about, if, whatever it is that you want to pursue, you basically want to come in at, in a place where you're learning and constantly learning and then trying to cross train and gain as much information or knowledge as you can. So if it's hospitality or hotels that you want, try to come in, start working as a front desk person, so you get that operations feel, and then maybe cross train into sales, cross train into housekeeping, like really get to know the business and the back of the house, if you will, before you start in the front of the house, if that makes any sense.
Makes a lot of sense. You mentioned networking before.
Yeah.
How has well, first of all, how did you become such a skilled networker? Because you are. And secondly, how has networking helped your career personally and professionally?
Sure. Skilled networker, I want to say, is just in the DNA. I think, I just so happen to be an extrovert. I think it's, especially in sales, it's definitely helpful. You don't have to be an extrovert to be in sales, but it is helpful. And then how has networking helped me with my career? I can't stress enough how important it is to network and to, get to know people within your industry and show up and come to, association events. Well, you could before, maybe you could still do them virtually for right now.
Yes.
But it's important. And I could tell you that throughout my career, I'd have to say that some of the stepping stones that I've made have had a lot to do with connections that I've made through networking. So for instance, my current, the boss that I report to now, I knew from MPI International, because he worked for MPI International, worked for a DMO also, the one that I was at prior. So at one point, Junior, I'll just say his name, worked at, because everybody knows who my boss is.
Right.
So Junior worked for MPI International. I want to say that I was working for Marriott or LA Tourism at the time when I first met Junior, and we would just see each other at events. So, again, it just goes to show you that if you're active, you are aware of what opportunities that are, out there as well. And then just, your network is your net worth, right?
Hey, yes, you're preaching to the choir. So I'm going to ask one more question, and then Isla ask another question. For people that are maybe nervous about networking or don't have very much experience networking, what advice would you give to them so they can be more comfortable navigating that landscape?
Sure. I think, well, I'm going to give a couple of pieces of advice. I think far too often people are really eager to hand out their business card. I don't want to say that it's off-putting, but I think just, having a basic conversation, saying hello, asking them, how they are, who they work for, just those kind of, going back to sales, but qualifying types of questions. And even though, let's say you're a hospitality sales professional and you want to talk to meeting planners, don't just target meeting planners when you go to these events. I think it's important for you to network amongst your peers as well, because you never know, you can actually get leads from another, somebody else that does the same thing that you do. So don't limit yourself to just trying to target specific people for specific things. I think the broader you are in networking and just getting to know people for who they are and, what it is that they do, and figuring out what connection you can make with them, and then taking that a step further. And as you meet more people, connecting those people to each other, I think pays off in dividends, in the sense of it, broadens the scope, or broadens the number of people that and why and how you can, work with each other, later on.
Very wise advice. Isla, I'll let you go next so you can ask us your next question. Also, if you're paying attention on watching us live, feel free to leave us a comment or a question and we'll add it to the show. So go ahead, Isla.
Yeah, so when you first started, what was the thing that initially drew you into the industry?
I'd have to just say that by nature, I'm a people person. I was fortunate in the sense that when I was younger, my family uh, took me everywhere, and they were part of, I guess it's a fraternal organization, and they would take me to conventions when I was younger. And so I was exposed to it a lot, as far as traveling and, conventions as I guess I would say I was probably about like 9, 10, 11, and I just loved it. And I think a lot of people know this story, but my family would take me to international conventions. And back in the 80s, it was okay to kind of have your kids to explore. I don't know if you do it now.
No, you wouldn't do it now, but
Grandpa and my
Yeah.
mom every day would give me a little bit of like some homework, and they'd say, okay, we're going to be on for a couple of hours. While we're gone, here's some money. Do me a favor, go find the gym, go find the restaurant, go find the beauty salon. Like, they would give me something to find and do. And then, when they get back, that would, I would basically give them a tour of the hotel. So I was giving site inspections at a very early age, and it's
a natural.
yeah,
Nice.
absolutely.
Cool. So Dr. Ellen Kim, our leader here at Cal State Fullerton and my coworker, she says, thank you, Mariles, for sharing your valuable time with us. She says she was able to see that Visit Anaheim website promotes places outside of Anaheim, all throughout the Orange County. How do you guys work with and collaborate with other CVBs in Orange County?
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think the role of Visit Anaheim has as one of the biggest CVBs in the world?
That's a great question. Thank you for that. So fortunately, being the convention center is in Anaheim, as you all know. And so to back this up a little bit, what puts Anaheim on the map? What brings people to Anaheim from a tourism perspective?
Disney, yes.
There you go. So what we know is that people will come to Disney, but when they're at Disney and they are in Anaheim, of course, when people come to Southern California, they also want to experience beaches. So fortunately for us, we do have partners within, as well as other DMOs within Orange County. And so we have Huntington Beach, we've got Laguna Beach, we have Newport Beach. So we all work together because we know that when you have groups or meetings that come to any of those cities along, within, 10, 15, 20, 25-mile radius, that they are going to touch and want to experience or explore the whole area. I mean, and then I would be remiss to say that it would stop there, because if you are going to spend some time in Southern California, you potentially could be flying in from LAX, not just, John Wayne Airport, or you might be out for the week and want to drive down to San Diego. So it really is, kind of like a West Coast, Southern California collaboration. So we do work with all of the DMOs in the sense that we will work together. We will compete, but it's a healthy type of competition. But it really is, what it comes down to is the reason, or the reason why groups are coming to the area and where they need to be. So sometimes it's based on where the headquarter office is, sometimes it's based on a convention, and depending on where that convention is, there's tertiary meetings that are attached to that. So we all tend to work together, and we all promote the destination.
Yeah, great answer. Why are CVBs so important for the success of the hotels that they serve?
I think that there's several ways to look at it. I think, because just our mere existence is to promote the destination. And so what we can do with helping hotels is that if, let's say, a end user or a planner is considering different, destinations, different areas. They're looking at Dallas, they're looking at Anaheim, and they're looking at Portland. I think that what we can do is we can really assist the hotels by giving, some information that maybe the hotel didn't have about, here's some information on the local airport and how many flights come in from where their feeder cities are coming from and how many flights they can come on, and just overall like information that can help to bring the client to the destination or to entice them or give them, more information, just, as a whole, as an entity, is, here's what the weather looks like. We can, assist in assistance with the transportation, in facilitating tours of the area. It's really just about selling the destination as a whole. So the hotel can focus on bringing the business to the hotel, but what we can do is we can explain why they want to bring their group to Anaheim or Orange County.
Okay. So to continue this question, you've worked for 2 CVBs and you work for a major, probably one of the biggest hotel companies in the world. How do you compare working for hotels compared to working for a destination?
It's very different. It depends. There's different ways that you can look at it. So when you work at a specific hotel, you're hotel centric. It's all about that particular hotel. When you work for a hotel brand, in the last role that I had with Marriott, I had specific accounts, and I would work with those accounts and would work on anything under the sun. It was called total account management. So whether it was their business travel, whether it was their groups, meetings, conventions, even extended stay, if they had, project business, like those were the kinds of things that I would work with. But it was more so specific towards the brand. And when I say brand, it's not just Marriott, but it was, Residence Inn, Renaissance, Courtyard, all the different brands, and based on what it, trying to figure out what that client needed, whether it was for business travel, whether it was for, their national sales meeting, whether it was for their executive board. It was about trying to find the right hotel that all of those, different meetings or needs were. And I'm sorry, that's Ella.
I love it.
She's like, I want to talk too, Mommy.
Cool. So Isla, I'm going to turn over to you, but I want you, hopefully you heard when Mariles mentioned extended stay and project business, because we talk about that in class. So
yes, I remember.
All right. Just want to put that out there. Go ahead, Isla.
Yeah, I was like, it's relevant now what I learned in class. Anyway, my next question was, what is the most rewarding part of your job and what is the most challenging of what you do?
I think it's a little bit of everything, in the sense of rewarding is having had the experience that I've had and leading a team and being able to assist them and help them. Okay, I just want to make sure she was okay. With their careers. And, I think I'm fortunate in the sense that I have been here for a while. A lot of the planners and clients that they work with are still clients that I had worked with in the past, and that I can, say that I have had the experience that they've had. So I think that it's rewarding in the sense that I can share my experience with them firsthand, because I can't just, it's something that, sorry, she's not usually like this.
She just wants attention. It's fine.
Really she never whines like this, so that's why. That's enough. So what I was saying was that I was going to say that she is that I have the firsthand experience of working with accounts and working with, just in general in sales, to where I feel that I can say that I've actually done it versus, hypothetically speaking, is that I can actually say that, hey, these are tactics or these are things that I did when I was, in your position, and can actually, make those suggestions firsthand. And then challenging is, and it's a good thing. There's no such, every day is different. Things get thrown your way, especially, just even things that have been going on this week or, current events. So I think from a challenging standpoint, it's like, okay, how do we work with everything that's going on today? And it's just, the only thing that you do is you move forward. You do all the things that you need to do to figure out, okay, how do we work with the new normal, with what's going on now. So it's just continuing to move forward. But that's what I would have to say is the most challenging is it's challenging in a good way and challenging in a bad way. that no 2 days are the same.
All right, good.
Cool.
Good. If you need to let them out, we can. Isla and I can talk while you let them out if you need to.
I'm gonna do that. Give me one second. Okay.
All right. So Isla, I'm curious for you. How have you been keeping busy after graduation? How have you been keeping busy? Ooh. Let's see here.
Well, I don't know what. Okay. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. Go ahead. Yeah.
All right, cool. I know it freaked out for a second. I've been I still have a little bit of work, but I teach piano, in case you guys didn't know. And I've been looking at the free masterclass that we got for CSU students. So I've been watching some of those. Other than that, just kind of taking my dog for a walk, cooking sometimes. We take turns cooking in my house, and applying for jobs because I graduated, but not a lot, not as many as normal are hiring right now.
Not
but
yet.
We're trying.
Keep trying. What have been some of your favorite master classes that you've been able to watch?
So far, I've watched Bob Iger, who was the former CEO of Disney.
Yes.
Because I'm a big Disney gal, and I want to see what it's like. And also Gordon Ramsay, because he's so passionate about everything that he does, and it's really cool to just watch him talk about vegetables for 20 minutes. But he's like, this is amazing, and this is I don't know what he said. He said a celery root is amazing because you can eat it with this and this, and then another video is him cooking. And he loves it so much. I love watching him.
Yeah. And then for the cooking, is there been a new recipe that you've been able to adopt and now you've kind of got to perfect it? For me, I've locked down my plantain recipe and cooking plantains. What about for you?
That sounds good. A new thing I tried last week, which was actually really easy. I don't know what I expected, but I made Parmesan crusted chicken. It was so easy. I didn't think it would be that simple, but so I'll probably make that again. There's just a few.
All right,
but it was good. It was yummy.
All right.
Love that, guys.
All right. So you're back. Good. The dog's out and we're good.
Yes, but you made them bark.
It's okay. It's okay. It's real life. That's the beauty of live streaming. It's real life. It's good.
Not scripted.
Yes, not scripted for sure. So I have to kind of break it down. So Mariles and I used to work together. So we both worked at Marriott. When I first moved here, Mariles was doing the job over at the Manhattan Beach cluster. And then when we had Salesforce One, Mariles joined our team. And so we started working together there. And then I think Brian left first, then I left, then Mariles left. And I remember that when I left and I went full time, the DJ life, Mariles told me, you should really attend an MPI meeting and see what that's about, because I think it'd be very good for your business. And so I went. We were over in Woodland Hills, I believe, is at the Courtyard, Sherman Oaks Courtyard, first meeting. I'm kind of giving you a preview of my acceptance speech when I become president of MPI in a year. So I'm giving you a preview, Mariles, so you get the preview.
I love it.
And that was maybe 8 years ago. I went to that first meeting, and being a member first and then on the board of MPI has changed my business dramatically. It's brought me to Cal State Fullerton. I would not be here if it wasn't for MPI. And it's also introduced me to some people who I've become very close friends with. So first, I say thank you very much, Mariles, for getting me into the group and showing me the way. My first question, because we have a lot of guests that have been active with MPI, but I want to say you're one of the few people who's actually been president of a chapter, and you're a past president now. Yes. What kind of leadership skills did you learn through all your roles at MPI, including president, and how has it helped your career personally and professionally?
Definitely. So I think that being a leader in MPI affords you it's a safe space to learn. I'd have to say, because of the different departments, you get exposure to different things. So partnership, special events, it's membership, special events, believe it or not, finance. That is not my forte, but you learn it when you become president of MPI or of a chapter, because that is such an integral part of your leadership. So it gives you a safe space to learn. you are in it together. You form really strong relationships with the people that are on your board. It's like when you create your board, when you're, becoming president and you put together your slate, you're almost putting together like your draft dream team, if you will, because thank you for understanding what I'm saying. But, you want to make sure that you have people around you and support you that will pick up in your, shortfall or where you're not strong in is that's what you want to look for. And you carry that on in your leadership as you build your teams moving forward. So that's what I would say is how it could help you with your leadership is, you learn to work with people, you learn different management styles, you work with different communication styles, and they're also different, and there's so many different things to take into consideration that you learn as a leader in an association. So, and then I've brought that moving forward, with my leadership as well, is that, you want to build your team and have people around you that have different strengths. So that's, one of the big takeaways. And then as far as growing in leadership, I'd have to say that, it doesn't leave you. Your, MPI SEC is always going to hold a special place in my heart, just because that's where I made, so many friends, industry friends that I still keep in touch with now, that are mentors, that are, we still have a weekly virtual happy hour with a few of them. And it's so great. And they're so knowledgeable and have had so much experience that, you just learn from each other and then you move forward. So for the past few years, I've started to get involved with MPI International in different capacities. So now I am on the nominations committee. What is it called? The advisory council for leadership with MPI, as well as the chapter membership advisory council. So I'm doing a couple of things with international, and it's just, it takes a village, and you really have an appreciation for the fact that, if you're passionate about something and you're volunteering, however, in whatever capacity you are, just how much that affects and how much that helps, and, an association, an industry, et cetera, and so forth. So it's been great.
Good. When you worked at LA TCB and then you worked at Anaheim TCB, or Convention Visitors Bureau, what were the differences? What was the differences in both jobs? Because you're both working for CVBs, but I'm sure it was very different.
Sure. So when I was working for LA Tourism and Convention Board, I would have to say that it was different. So I'm going to back up. So as you all know, because you've interviewed Brian was my boss when I was at LA Tourism, and we all worked together in the same area for Marriott. So when I was able to work for LA Tourism, I was able to bring the experience that I had in the territory that I had to LA Tourism. So my specific territory is basically where I live, like it's called LA South. Is what Marriott refers to this area, and it's everything from Marina Del Rey through Long Beach. So when I worked for LA Tourism, that was my, I was the regional director for LAX Beach City, so it directly translated in the sense of the territory that I had. So it was an easy transition in the sense that I knew Marriott like the back of my hand. So the biggest learning was the other brands. So it was getting to know Hilton, getting to know, all the other brands that are within this area, resort properties, and things like that. So the biggest difference with selling or with working from LA to Anaheim was that I was afforded the opportunity to lead once I got to visit Anaheim. And I was the senior director of meeting sales, and what I did when I was with LA was I was on the team for selling self-contained. So it's called Meeting Sales with Visit Anaheim, but it's self-contained for LA. So it's, again, the same thing in the sense that it's anything that's not attached to the convention center. So that was the biggest transition, is that I've been able to lead a team with Visit Anaheim, and then I've taken on more responsibility in partnership sales.
Yeah. You recently got a promotion. So first of all, congratulations. Tell us some new responsibilities you have with your new job.
Sure. So partnership sales. So a lot of DMOs are membership-based organizations in the sense that we help promote venues, hotels, restaurants that are members of Visit Anaheim. So anybody that pays dues, in the sense of that's who we assist in promoting. So there's also different funding for DMOs. Sometimes it's called a TID, sometimes it's TOT. Did you guys go through that in class?
Maybe Dr. Kim's class. I think she covers a lot of it. So yeah.
Oh, perfect. So there's specific taxes that fund us because, we're a DMO, or, we were called CVBs before. So that would just be another stream of income for the DMO, is through membership or partnership. So basically, what partners of ours are partners that would benefit from the groups and the meetings that we would bring to Anaheim and Orange County.
Got it. All right, Isla, I'll let you kind of go with your next question. What do you have for us?
Yeah. So my next question is, with everything that's going on today with the virus and everything else, what is something you're looking forward to as we somewhat get back to normal or open back up again, or new things, or what are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to meeting again. I just, even though we're able to virtually meet, I feel that there's still importance around being face to face. So whatever that looks like, whether we're wearing masks, whether we're elbow bumping and, fist bumping versus shaking hands, or whatever it is that we're going to be doing, I just feel that meetings and conventions are such a vital part to doing business. And I think that that's the thing that I'm looking forward to the most, is just being able to, and again, for self-contained, whether we start at 10 to 50 to 250, whatever it's going to be, I look forward to that.
You and I both.
Me too.
What changes do you foresee hotels and venues making to ease this transition that we're going to have?
Definitely. I mean, we're working on it right now. I think that you guys might have seen on my Facebook, Anaheim Convention Center is going through the GBAC certification, which stands for Global Biorisk Advisory Council. So it's basically, we're setting our standards for cleanliness. So, the fact that we're pursuing this, and I believe that we should be completing our certification come July, just, shows people, hey, we're ready to welcome you back to the convention center and to Anaheim. And though we, want to make sure that we are ensuring, well, I don't want to say ensuring, but that we're taking the necessary steps that we have control of in cleanliness for your comfort, to ensure that you feel comfortable and that everybody's, ready to meet again. And that's, hand sanitizers, it's social distancing, it's, there's so many facets to it. But as far as what do I think or what do I see, I think that we're going to see, sorry, somebody's walking by right now.
Go ahead.
Probably the most entertaining interview that you guys have had.
Of course, we love it. A classic.
So you're going to see that. We're getting, new, what are they called? Space capacity charts for hotels with social distancing measures in place. So, I think maybe instead of seating 2 per 6-foot table or 3 per 8-foot table, you're going to see more of like a 1 per 6. I think that as far as capacities, we're going to need more space for less people just to ensure that there's that social distancing. I think from a food and beverage standpoint, you're going to see more boxed and prepackaged foods versus buffets. Those are kinds of the kinds of things that I think we're going to see. I think we're going to start seeing more of the visual markers of, almost like when you go to the grocery store of, hey, this is where you're going to stand when you register at registration, just for social distancing. So it's things like that. And it's just to ensure that, we're just mindful of everything.
what are some of the innovations and maybe new inventions that you think can assist, the hospitality industry, specifically like venues, hotels, restaurants, to make this transition, but also maybe open up our minds to things we didn't do before and kind of get outside of our proverbial box?
I think that we already kind of were working towards things. So I know that RFID, so the radio frequency devices with regards to our name badges, I think that, there's going to probably be more things with that. So rather than direct scanning, say like at hosted buyer appointments, you're going to it's just automatically going to happen somehow. I mean, I know that we're even looking at, or I've seen a video where people's temperatures are being taken when they, walk into a building or a general session, or, things along that line. I think we're going to see, more of that. I think there's going to definitely be more physical, medical kinds of access to where, it's just, I think that everybody's health and safety is just going to be more prevalent at events and meetings moving forward.
Now, I know that you have had an interesting, tough time with like friends of yours getting furloughed, staff getting furloughed, people getting laid off. How have you been able to still stay focused on work, but also stay kind of balanced in life and not completely kind of check out?
You know what? I think that, it is tough. I mean, my daughter works for a big hotel company as well, and has her furlough has just been extended. So, it's tough. I know that I have a lot of, like you said, we've got a lot of friends in the industry that are laid off. You know what? I try not to think about it. I try to think about, what I can do, how I can help, keep my nose to the grindstone, try to do everything that I can. We're definitely wearing multiple hats. You definitely have to just stay passionate about, I think about, why am I here? It's because I love what I do. So I just make sure that I think about that every day, basically. Mm-hmm. And I want to say that, on weekends or my furlough weeks, because I'm furloughed also, right. That I do unplug and I do the things that, I like to do. And so that's, I think, just maintaining that balance of, whatever it is. I think it's important that, to practice self-care in whatever it is that you do.
Isla had mentioned earlier, and I'll let you ask your next question in a minute, Isla, you're next, so to speak, that, she's going through the process of applying for jobs. She just graduated. Many other graduates are applying for jobs. There's not a lot out there. Mm-hmm. What message or advice would you share with kind of recent graduates, people who had jobs set up, they were taken away, and now there's nothing out there? We don't want them to lose hope, but they don't really see any light at the end of the tunnel. What would you say to them to kind of give them a little hope?
You know what? I think if this is what you've set your mind to, in the sense of this is the industry that you want to pursue, don't let that stop you. I think it's important that you are flexible. I think that, sometimes people have that, I've graduated, I'm going to walk into a specific position with a specific title. I think that you have to be open to maybe not doing that at first, just to, one, get your foot in the door. Two, I think that it's so important to, round yourself out as far as experience. So I think the biggest thing is to just be open with what you do or what you want to pursue, and just know that once you get your foot in the door, it's that much easier versus having your mindset, on a specific job, a specific title, a specific brand, whatnot, just because, it's a little limited right now. It will come back. It's just going to take a little bit of time. But it's definitely going to come back. So that opportunity will still be there. You just have to be a little bit more patient.
Agreed. Go ahead, Isla. What do you got for us next?
So my next question is, if you could go back to the start of your career with the knowledge that you know now, what would you have done differently, and what would you have done the same?
I love this question, by the way.
That is a great question. And that's a really tough one. And I think that it's because I've been so fortunate with the opportunities that I've had and the people that I've met and the experiences that I've had, that I wouldn't change anything. I would just have to say that I guess it's a little bit of my own advice of being flexible. And, if I had my heart set on some jobs, I think everybody has experienced that. And, no may mean no, but it also could mean maybe later. You know what I mean? I think that I wouldn't let the no's stop me or discourage me. And I honestly don't think that they did. I just kept plugging away. I kept moving on. I kept, looking for those opportunities. So I guess that would be the biggest thing. I wouldn't change anything other than the fact that I probably wouldn't have taken like certain things like so harshly or hard, you know what I mean? Just because I do believe that, things happen for reasons and, all that fun stuff. So like I said, I really wouldn't change anything, but I probably wouldn't have been so hard on myself.
Yeah. Excellent advice. I know that you've done a great job during this time period of acquiring some new skills, and I'm so happy that you've done that. What have you learned during this kind of downtime while you've been furloughed a little bit, and what are you looking to learn as we continue in this kind of holding pattern?
Sure. I mean, I did my CVent certification.
Yes. Say it. Be proud.
My CVent supplier certification. I've really kind of, as a salesperson, you typically shy away from like anything from you're not a revenue person. Let's just put it that way. So I think that I've really paid more attention to business evaluation and reporting and things along, it wasn't my strong suit in the past. And as you grow in leadership, you have to make it your strong suit. So I'd have to say perfecting and understanding reporting and the systems that, we utilize and, just continuing to learn more. I try to sit in on as many webinars, just don't stop learning and keep your learning very broad. So, granted, I no longer sell business transient, but I do sit in on US travel, calls just because travel affects meetings and that affects conventions, et cetera. So it's all encompassing. So that's, I think, the biggest thing that I would, that I'd have to say is important is just to keep sharpening your skills and keep sitting in or on, different training and whatnot, because it all feeds into the same thing.
Exactly. Speaking of the CVent certification, for our virtual conference we're having on July 11th, every student that attends will get a free pass to certify with CVent. So I just want to mention that there. More details coming soon. Mariles, you hire a lot of people throughout your jobs with the different positions that you manage. When you look to hire people, what are some of the characteristics that really stand out and impress you the most?
I'd have to say a person with a lot of tenacity. I love people that have, how do I want to put this? Garnered as much experience as possible. So I don't just look at, a person that has worked for, one hotel company. Like, I actually welcome people that have worked for different hotel brands, whether it's resort properties, whether it's extended stay, whether it's limited service, whatever it may be, just because it does give you that edge, because you understand how each of those brands work. So multi-brand experience is a big one for me. Business development is a huge one for me. I think that it's important. I think that, sometimes we, wait for the leads to come to us. And I think that, sometimes that works and sometimes you can be successful at that, but it's those people that have that business development entrepreneurial spirit that really will find those nuggets of, business that you wouldn't normally find by waiting for it to come. So it's those proactive people. It's the proactive sales that I look for. So it's people that are have multi-brand business development, and just, you could tell in the interview. There's something about people that are not necessarily aggressive, but confident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we have like maybe 4 more minutes with you. So I'll let Isla kind of ask one of her last questions, and we'll close it up. So Isla, thank you again. What's one of your final questions for us?
My last question, you kind of mentioned it earlier, but like, how's the work-life balance overall from like when you started and now, and like, have you been able to have a balance, or is it too much work or too much life? I don't know. How has that been?
Sure. I mean, I can tell you that for me, I have 2 grown children. When I started off in this career, you're working. That's the one thing that you have to keep in mind. If you want to work for hotels, granted, let's take, what's going on right now out of what we're looking at. But hotels are open 365 days a year, 24 hours, 7 days a week. So keep that in mind, in the sense that when you first come onto a job, you're not going to get the schedule that you want. You're just not. And, you're going to start off, you're going to work nights, you're going to work weekends. So, of course, at the time I was starting my family. So what was so great was that it afforded me the opportunity to work, different schedules based on, my family, and being able to take my kids to school and whatnot. So sorry, can you repeat the question?
You were answering it.
I think you were answering it, but how has the balance been with your job throughout?
So as far as balance goes, I mean, I think that that's important. And I think that it's important that you work for a company that aligns with your beliefs, and that you are communicative with your supervisor and your managers about what you're hoping to accomplish. So if you're starting a family, or if you're a student and you want, whatever it is, just be able to make sure that you communicate that with who you work with and who you work for, and, talk about your long-term goals, your short-term goals, all of that, and make sure that they align. I've been fortunate in the sense that, this industry is again, 365, 24/7. I think that as you grow in management, I think that I don't want to say that you're always working, because I don't want to scare anybody, but you kind of are, in the sense that, just because you shut your computer off or you turn your phone off, that it doesn't mean that something isn't happening that isn't going to need attention. So I think it's just important that you set your own boundaries, and you actually, and it's okay. There are people out there that are just, workaholics, and that's good, but that's also equates to, quicker burnout. But I think, again, it goes back to, self-care, knowing also that, it's okay to return a call or an email during regular business hours. I am a firm believer in that, in the sense that, sometimes things take, some time to respond to, but I think that it's important to also communicate, hey, I'm working on this, or acknowledge that you've received, an email or whatnot. But as far as work-life balance, I think that as you have to just practice that yourself, and be diligent about it, and making sure that you step away in order to not get burnt out, because it can happen.
Great answer. Yeah. Just to kind of maybe ask you one final question before we say our goodbyes.
Okay.
What's like next for you, like the next 5 to 7 years? Where do you want to see your career go? Because you already have achieved a really high level, specifically for like a female Asian woman. Like, so you're doing it. What's next for Mariles?
Thank you. I want to say I still want to continue to grow in leadership. I would love to be a CSO, and maybe eventually a president and CEO of a DMO. I mean, and then that's not necessarily the end, but maybe that's the 3 to 5 year goal.
Exactly. Good. Yep. So if people here watching want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to get in touch with you? Is it LinkedIn? I'll put your LinkedIn profile up there. Like if they want to reach out.
LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook. So you could reach out either way, but I would definitely say LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on there.
All right. So we just want to say thank you very much for spending time. You're our neighbor because you're in Anaheim. We're in Fulton, so we're right next to each other. We definitely want to have you on campus really soon. Yeah, we're going to continue the conversation about advisory board as well, because I'm not going to let you off the hook too fast. And just keep doing what you're doing. We're very proud of you. We watch you from afar and just admire your resilience and keep, striving, because you give us all hope. So we just want to say thank you. And it's been a pleasure having the show. Isla, any last words?
Just thank you for being here. It was really nice talking to you and hearing everything.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Sorry about my special little dog. And
oh yeah,
no worries.
We are very friendly. So we're good. So tune in next week. The next week we'll have an interview, but it'll be a little earlier in the day. So pay attention to the time. But thank you very much. We're going to give you a little preview of what's to come next week. Everyone, please stay safe out there. And thank you for watching, and see you soon.
Thank you.
All right, so we're good.